little bit, boy. Start over. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Nomads No Worries. My name is Steve. This is my co-host, Jack. And today we have our friend, a very special guest, AP, or Alex, on the show. We want to talk about Alex's time as a digital nomad, because it's a little bit different than me and Jack. You know, we're always talking about these exotic places all around the world. But AP is a recently retired domestic nomad. He just stayed within the boundaries of the great country of the United States of America, driving around in his car. So we're going to talk about his experience. Alex, thank you for joining us.
David, thanks for having me.
Good to see you, man. Really happy you're on the show.
Yeah, it's great to see you. It's been about 6 days, Jack. It's phenomenal to see you again.
Alex, are your glasses real or are those more blue light blockers?
They are blue light blockers. There is, surprisingly, people think you're smarter when you have glasses on. Really just means you have trouble seeing, but people associate that with brilliance. So I figured I'd give it a go.
Yeah. You got the classic nerd look going with the glasses and the collared shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every cartoon growing up, if you had glasses and a collared shirt, like you were a nerd, right?
And he's read a lot of books apparently as well.
Yeah, we can see all those books behind you. They look very real.
Sponsored
Definitely not
by
a fake
Riverside
background.
Recording Studio.
So let's talk about it. You're recently retired. What's it like being a retired nomad and staying in one place these days?
We still get the itch from travel. We did it for about 3 years around the United States. I think it was 22, 23 cities across like 15 different states. Naturally, by the end, you've had enough Airbnb experiences where you kind of want something of your own. But as soon as we kind of got settled down for a prolonged period of time, I think it's been about 18 months total now, we want to go out and travel and that kind of thing. We actually spent the last 2 weeks of August in Montana, just Airbnb and it, kind of working and living remote again. So yeah, it's good to have our own place, but we still like to try to travel as much as we can.
So you still do some miniature nomad stints like you did in Montana, just not full-time anymore. You actually own a residence.
Correct.
Man, was it pretty fun being in Montana, like reliving the nomad days?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, as you guys know, every day kind of feels like vacation. You do your day job and it's nice to kind of keep life moving in that regard and have a routine, but every day you get after work, you get to go do something new. So the 2 weeks flew by. Yeah,
we haven't talked about that. What did you do? Like, what was the coolest thing you did up there?
Yeah, definitely the coolest thing. We went to Glacier National Park. We were up there with my brother and sister-in-law splitting the Airbnb, and then my parents came in. And yeah, Glacier is nuts. I mean, we've all lived in Denver and been to those mountains in the Rockies, but Glacier is just like a whole different scale of beauty and nature. So that was super cool. We spent about 3 days up there.
Wow, that sounds awesome. What a great break from like the Florida heat, you know?
Yeah, we kind of realized that we can just go travel during the summer when it's, the hottest, and then in the winter be down here when everything's great.
But still working remote, which is key.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, in general, the reason we did the domestic travel more so than the international. It felt more approachable to keep kind of our day jobs going. Obviously, you guys have made some sacrifices working some off hours. We wanted things a little more standard to how we were used to. So, that for the most part was staying time zone aligned and traveling around the U.S. so we could still keep up our day jobs without any really major inconvenience.
So let's bring it back to the beginning of your nomad days. Let's get like a general overview. You said 15 states, however many cities. Like where did you first go? You guys were living in Denver, so like you left Denver and how did you start? Kind of what were your next steps?
Yeah, so for us, kind of the main pillars rather we're trying to make sure that we were always places where the weather was fairly nice, and we were in my wife's CRV, so we pretty much had as much of our shit as we could pack in the car, which
nice.
That in itself was an adventure. but we tried to pick places that were generally reasonable drives. We had some pretty long drives, like 14 hours, 16 hours, 12 hours, that kind of stuff, but tried to not make it any longer than that. But so we went from Denver to Salt Lake. We were there for 2 months in the summer, went up to the Pacific Northwest, did Seattle, and then Portland with you, Steve. I can't say enough bad things about Portland, but I'll digress.
Least favorite stop?
Yeah, we were there in November, and what we learned later was November was the second rainiest month of the year, and it was a particularly rainy November. So I swear to you, it was 6-7 days
Dude.
a week, every day.
It was like the whole month we were there, it was like we never saw the sun. It was like gray the whole time, which was just kind of a bummer, I gotta say.
During October, so we had some spooky vibes, but it was the classic, like, you know how VRBO's only shtick on their commercials is like, hey, you don't have to share your rental, like the host isn't here. We had that experience, and this guy was creepy.
So AP and I split a place. Before you continue talking about your journey, we should talk about the Portland place that we shared, because it was awesome. But we did have a guy named Gary who lived in the basement. We had like this big house all to ourselves, but the host had a separate unit in the basement. And when we went, we had to do like our laundry down there. So when we went down, like he was only separated by like a shitty partition.
He called it the partition. He's like, I live behind the partition.
And if you look through it, sometimes you could see Gary tinkering around down there doing God knows what. But he was not happy with the amount of guests that we had over a few times. I don't know. Alex, you want to elaborate on that part?
So, yeah, we rented out the whole house. I think it had 4 or 5 bedrooms and slept like 12 folks. And it was just the 4 of us and our girls at the time. But there was 1 or 2 weekends where we had maybe 6 guests or something. We'd have some friends come. And we're like, okay, we have these empty rooms. They'll just naturally sleep there. And then because he had the Ring camera or whatever, he would afterwards send us a ginormous charge to the tune of like $400 or $600 for the extra guest fees.
No way.
Our stance was like, hey man, we are already paying you for the entire property. How do we have to pay an extra fee each night a guest stays on these empty beds that we already have?
Yeah, that's weird.
Just, like, dinged us for towels. Like his window was leaking, so I used the towel to clean up and help him. And then we had to dispose of the towel. He charged us for that. So he just was like,
this dude had hundreds of towels down in the laundry room. I'm not kidding. Like, I don't even know how he kept inventory and even noticed that one was missing. Yeah. There were literally hundreds of like hand towels. Like, I don't even know how he caught that.
So like, it was literally the VRBO marketing shtick of like shitty weird host that lives with you. But yeah, it was fun living with him. But yeah, the weather in Portland just stunk.
So is it never, what's the sunniest month in Portland?
The summer. So, okay, my sister just got married there in August, I think, like maybe August 1st. And she literally picked the day of the whole year of Portland that historically it's least likely to rain. And the whole weekend was like beautiful. We did like a riverboat cruise through like the city the river that goes through the city. And it was blue skies, like perfect weather, like 70s the whole weekend. So that kind of turned Portland around for me. I was like, okay, it's actually beautiful. She got married in this state park, like right outside the city. It was like honestly incredible. I was like, okay, the Pacific Northwest is pretty amazing when it's nice weather, which isn't all the time, but I will say when it's nice, it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one kind of the nuance of our travels. Like we did Portland because we were just in Seattle right before, and obviously the cities are closely located. And we were in Seattle in August and September, which are the nicest months of the year for Seattle. So it was almost like Portland, just by nature of being the next closest city, like we had to have a bad weather month there. But you know, August and September in Seattle was beautiful. It was incredible up there.
All right, so moving on from Seattle, where'd you guys go next?
Yeah, so after we went to Portland, and then from there we went down into California, which we quickly learned
Vibes.
All California is. But we did San Jose, so kind of the Bay Area, which was really cool. Then we stayed in San Diego for a few months, and then Huntington Beach. So we kind of did, 3 of the kind of the main cities, areas in California. Really enjoyed those areas. It's pretty tough to beat the weather in SoCal for sure. And then from there, went into Scottsdale and Phoenix over the winter. So we did 3 months there, which was awesome. I think I remember us 3 golfing together. And then Jack hit the guy with his ball.
Whoa.
Yeah, he did.
And then
Have we
Steve
talked
like
about
a
that
champ.
on the pod yet, Jack?
I don't know if we have, honestly. I kind of forgot that happened.
And then Steve, you sliced one so badly that it sliced before the net was
Oh, yeah.
dinged it off the roof of the building.
Yeah, there's like a net to stop people from hitting the houses off to the side, but mine went so sideways that the net wasn't even like there yet, and I still hit a house. Similar to when Jack hit the guy. Like the other tee box was directly to the side of us, and Jack's shot went so sideways that he hit a dude who was teeing off on the other hole in the leg.
Sidewinder.
Look, I mean, look, these links courses, you're crammed in there. You crammed in there. I messed up. I hit it, and then Alex's brother made me go apologize to the guy. Not that I wasn't going to anyway, but he kind of hurried me up,
And it was right in the thick of his calf. Like this guy went down.
Yeah, he buckled, right? But he took it like a champ, and I offered to buy him lunch or a beer or something. I apologized, and he didn't want any of that. So, I guess he was a tough guy out there, or maybe I just don't hit a drive as hard as I think I do.
So maybe we should ask you about each place when you talk about it. So we talked California. Sure. You were north, you were central, southern. Like what was your favorite spot in California? Like what's your take on Cali Vibes?
Yeah, I mean San Diego was great for sure. I mean there's a reason that it kind of has the lore that it does. The weather was always incredible. The one downside about California, and one of the things that I think's great about traveling like this and experiences that you don't necessarily know, is being from Kansas growing up. I thought California surfers, it's the water's always warm. Until you get in the water there, it is frigid. And even in summer, SoCal, most folks are not in the water unless you have a wetsuit on. So that was in the long run, one of the reasons we chose Florida is we want to, be in somewhere where it's warm for the winter, but the water's way warmer here. You can actually get in during pretty much any month of the year. So that was one of the downsides, is I didn't necessarily conceptualize or understand that people don't really get in the ocean in California. But in general, we really liked our time there.
More for the sunsets, I guess.
Yeah. You could say.
Cali sunsets. Cali sunsets are the best. But yeah, I've learned that in my nomad journeys, that the Caribbean and the Gulf is the only place with warm water. If you're in the Pacific, it's there's some nice beaches, but the actual water is not that enjoyable.
Yeah, but Cali's still cool. I mean, maybe you could wear a wetsuit, do some surfing or something. But yeah, I kind of sometimes I want to wade in the water drunk, and you just can't really do that on the Cali coast.
What about sober?
Well, you know how it is. You're out on the beach. We've had a couple beers. I'm trying to wade in,
That was also a realization for us, is if you can't get in the water at the beach gets pretty kind of boring really quickly. You can read books and hang out and drink and that kind of thing, but it is nice to be able to pop in and out of the water.
True. After 30 minutes, you're what am I doing? Oh, I could get in the water. That's a thing I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, you can exfoliate. Yeah. I feel the salt is just good for your soul, the water. So you got to get in there. I want it to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, here in Fort Lauderdale where we live now, Jack and me and my wife, we just rented some. It was snorkel gear. It wasn't even scuba, and we just waded off, and there was a reef, 100 yards off the shore, and went and swum around in that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
when we were all in West Palm Beach at the very beginning.
That was the genesis of it all.
Maybe we should talk about our West Palm Beach spot.
Let's do that, because that's, that might have inspired Alex here to become a nomad. I think that was me and Jack. That was our first. Yeah, that was actually, I think it did. I remember the conversation. That was our first stop. Jack and I, we were domestic at one point too. We're let's go to Florida. That's pretty fucking crazy for us growing up in Kansas, living in Denver. So we went to West Palm Beach. We rented a house together. AP, you came to visit for like, I want to say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think that came right at the beginning. Like, I think I remember like us getting the keys and getting into the house and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And yeah, it was just so fun. We'd all do our jobs and go off in our corners during the day and do our stupid computer jobs. But then afterwards, it was just like we'd all hang out and have fun and do whatever we wanted. It was awesome.
Yeah. Or go to the beach and like go snorkeling and do these things that like we've never been able to do unless we're on vacation before.
Exactly.
So, and then I remember AP, you just being like, oh, dude, like, this is amazing. Like, I want to do this too. And then, yeah, I feel like a few months later, you were in the same boat.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 8 months after or something, because we had to,
Yeah.
my wife and I had to let our leases run out in Denver. But yeah, that I think was like pretty eye-opening for me of like, this is totally doable and it's like, it's super fun.
Yeah, it is super fun.
The Coastal Cottage was like the name of the house that we stayed in.
And remember, like our host, he was like a first time host, right? So we got like free wine or whatever.
Oh,
I remember thinking about that. I remember like, oh man, wow, we got wine for the whole month. And now I think about like all my years of traveling, like, oh, that was like a one-time thing. Like,
and
like all these Airbnb hosts, they're not giving me anything.
And we had, I think, Steve, you had your Nintendo Switch or something, so we just played video games, Super Smash and stuff, and yeah.
I've never played that many video games since like college, but we were just every day playing Super Smash Brothers.
Us and then Brenner was with us. So it was basically like college, just 4 brosifs hanging out.
There's like a really funny moment where like AP and I were like trying to figure out, okay, like we want to do something at the beach, like let's rent like a boogie board. And then we realized that like the beach we went to, because we did zero research, like basically just like doesn't have any waves, or like maybe at that time of year. So it's like just like basically useless. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, like we still had like fun and everything. It was like an adventure to get it.
Once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, our place from the beach was like maybe 20-minute walk or something. So one of the first days we're walking down there, all of a sudden we find ourselves in the midst of a Black Lives Matter rally or, parade, I guess I would call it. And this is back 2020, 2021. Yeah. And then a few days later, we're out in the channel on the ocean and there's a Trump boat rally that comes through. So I just remember thinking, like, damn, like Florida is like hyper politicized. Like it is. We're on every end of the spectrum here in the same area.
Yeah, the best of both worlds down there, truly. Just seeing everything that America has to offer.
I know I feel a little guilty, but I feel like I had more fun at the boat parade. I mean, I think that was like 4th of July. Like
the funniest thing was like both were totally by accident. We didn't know either of them was occurring. And all of a sudden,
yeah,
hundreds of,
we were like in the middle of both of them at both times. It was like the parade, we were just standing, and like all of a sudden we were in the middle of the parade. And then the boat thing, we were like out in the water, and then all of a sudden, like all these Trump boats are like swarming us. It's crazy.
And I would, I feel like we got to mention the fact that that's when that stay was when we learned the word simp, and we called it, instead of the Coastal Cottage, we called it the Simp Cottage, and we just absolutely drug that word through the mud.
Yeah, we haven't stopped saying it since. I mean, we still have the group chat called the Simp Lords. That was
like a core memory of learning what that word meant, and we all just thought so funny.
That was also because we were in West Palm, and that's where Epstein lived. Like Epstein lived in Palm Beach, so we also really were loving the Epstein jokes, like calling each other. Jack would call me, Jack would call me Ep Steve. We're like, oh, you're just calling each other like pedophiles and shit. Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah, there was definitely like a lot of good like geopolitical content like when we were all together, and I think that really like definitely impacted the trip positively.
Yeah, that was fun. Ooh.
So, Florida, Cali, then you go to Arizona. We also hung out there.
All right, let's talk about Arizona. Okay, Scottsdale is the greatest place of all time, right? I mean,
I get it. Why people like to go vacation down there. Like we even just went out there at the beginning of this calendar year for a few days during one of my wife's work trips, and like it's pretty awesome there.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I know I told you like I've been working on getting to Florida for the winter this year. But like, if that doesn't work out, if we don't find a place, like Scottsdale has so many options like that are,
Steven,
and it makes like our budget look so much better. Like the Florida budget versus like Scottsdale, like we could get a really nice place in Scottsdale for like the same budget, like in the middle of the old town.
arguable.
Just
Yeah, but
saying.
Steve, think about what we were just talking about, how much fun we had in Florida. We literally
you're right.
just talked about it for 20 minutes.
You're right. I'm still doing Florida, but it's Scottsdale's a backup plan.
Yeah,
right
Oh my God.
but I will
Let's
say,
do
I
it.
don't think there's that big of a difference on price. Scottsdale's pretty pricey itself.
There just seems to be more options. That's all I'm saying. At first glance, like I haven't really looked into it because we're pretty committed to Florida, but just at first glance, when I'm looking at the different apps, Scottsdale seems to have a lot. But I don't know.
What's the Florida situation? Do I say it on the stream? Like, how are the options looking?
Good. We've been like denied because we're trying to do this long-term thing. We're going through like more traditional websites like apartments.com. How traditional is that? Furnished Finder. And I don't know, we've gotten like turned down on a couple leases, just stupid. People are, oh, we want more long-term people. So I don't know. We're in this weird in between, but we got a good list. Things are happening. So talk to me in about a week and maybe we'll have a spot by then.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough down here, but it's worth it. I mean, we live a great life. I feel like, it's like retired nomad utopia, like this is where I'm coming to, I'm not racing anymore.
I have a question. Do people have street legal golf carts down there? I was thinking about like buying one for the month and selling it back, or buying it for 3 months, which I did when I lived in Scottsdale. I bought a street legal golf cart. I drove it to AP's house and shit. Do you think I could do that in Florida? I've already looked on Facebook Marketplace. They have them, but like, do you ever see people driving golf carts around?
In South Beach, yeah. Especially like golf carts for like, but it's more like golf carts for people who are like taxiing drunk people around, if that makes sense.
Right.
I think more the South Beach vibe is actually more the Vespa. Okay.
I'm looking at that too.
Yeah, like I think that's kind of the vibe there. A pack of Marlboro Reds and a Vespa, I think, is kind of the situation.
Electric vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my dream goal, is to just live in like a 55 plus community, even in my 30s, and just kind of drunk drive my golf cart around the neighborhood, chilling with the folks.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to do that because I could buy a golf cart. I mean, same thing I did in Scottsdale for like $1,000, $2,000 at most, and then just sell it back. Whatever. If I lose like $500, then like I just had a vehicle for $500 for 3 months. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think there's also like short-term car rental things, but
those were a little pricey. I feel like I would get a better deal by selling the golf cart back for a small loss. Sell it at a loss.
Now you can't drive the golf cart on the boardwalk,
I was wondering about that, but yeah, that's fine. I understand that. That's fine. Okay.
And then the other streets are like busy streets with crazy drivers.
Yeah.
Drivers out here
right?
are nuts.
Right, AP?
Yeah, those folks out there. I just like
savage.
Every time I got to drive to the golf or to like the grocery store, I'm like, what are we doing, folks?
I'm scared of Florida drivers.
There's a crazy statistic. 26% of drivers in Florida are not insured.
Dude, last time I visited you, AP, our Uber driver, like I think you were in the car with me, like she came up to a roundabout and had no idea what to do. Like she like froze, like she clearly did not know how roundabouts worked. And it was pretty obvious. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
also dangerous.
Roundabouts can be tricky.
They are, but like if you know how they work, they're tricky, but like she didn't even know how it worked like at all.
That's kind of her job, is driving, right? That's like,
right.
Me as a salesperson, I don't know how to work email. That's like one of the basic aspects. But there is the world's largest roundabout, I guess, is in the UK, and it's 8 of them combined somehow. So it's like this crazy
wow
thing you got to navigate.
Yeah, we got bigger highways, Steve.
You're right. We sure as hell do. Okay, so Scottsdale, do we need to say anything else about that place?
Yes, we do. Let's talk about our favorite restaurant in Scottsdale. Cold beer and cheeseburgers.
I had a great experience the first time we all went, and then afterwards, I haven't been impressed by their cheeseburgers.
Really?
And last time I went, the beer wasn't even that cold.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
What? Okay.
So, if their management team somehow stumbles upon this episode, reach out to me. I got some thoughts.
If you're gonna call yourself cold beer and cheeseburgers, at least make the beer cold.
And the cheeseburgers.
Neither of their value propositions were fulfilled there.
Well, they have cheeseburgers.
Yeah, I guess
They're
it's
just
not
not
good.
good.
It's not cold beer and
So
good.
they might have to just change the name to beer and cheeseburgers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Lukewarm beer and cheeseburgers.
Well, and cold beer and cheeseburgers. What if that means cold beer and cold cheeseburgers?
Good point.
You know, it's kind of
It
confusing.
Would you rather have cold beer and cold cheeseburgers or hot beer and hot cheeseburgers?
Hot beer, hot. Well,
I'll go cold. I can't do hot beer. I just can't.
Yeah, I think I'd go cold.
I could at least like choke down a cold cheeseburger if I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
warm
okay.
beer is
Hot
tough.
beer
I don't know.
seems oof.
Yeah. What else about Scottsdale? Jack, you still seem fired up about Scottsdale. So is there anything else? Or did you just want to get to that restaurant?
No, I mean, I feel like I always had fun. I feel like it was definitely a vacation mode, but in a different way, like a vacation where it's like spring break, not like relaxing.
Oh,
I mean, it can be relaxing,
I
but
think it's a go out culture there. It's one of those cities where, and Arizona does have a lot more mountains than I think I realized initially, but there's not like people golf and hike and stuff, but it's definitely like a go out culture because it doesn't have a huge nature aspect to it. So yeah, people love ripping brunches and Sundays are super busy there.
Sunday fun day, baby.
But I mean, the one thing I would call is we went to the Waste Management Open, that just gigantic party golf tournament. That was really fun.
Lit.
Probably the worst hangover of my life. Like those after 3 straight days of going at it.
Okay, give us the rest of the overview. Give us some more places that you went.
Like I said, it was kind of, we had to follow, things that were within driving distance. So I think right after Arizona, we popped back to Denver for a few months just to see friends and family. But from there, we went down into Texas. And as folks are probably able to tell, we pretty much kind of stayed around the coast of the U.S. So we did a few stops in Texas. Steve, we lived together again. Austin and Lake Travis. Lake Travis was sweet. Probably the nicest Airbnb we lived in.
That was
during
awesome.
our travels. I was kind of like imposter syndrome. Like, this is too nice for us. But after Texas, came down to Florida. We did Tampa and, right outside Tampa, Fort Lauderdale for the first time. And that was all winter. And then once it started to warm up again a little bit, we went north from there. So we did South Carolina, we did Charleston and Hilton Head. Then we did Raleigh, North Carolina. And then from there, we went up to the Northeast. So we did Brooklyn, which was probably my favorite of all the 23 stops. Like, I don't know if I could live in New York full time. It's pretty frenetic, but the 2 months we spent in Brooklyn were super fun. We did Boston while we were up there, and then we did Washington, D.C. And then I think after that, pretty much came back down to Florida, and that's when we settled down pretty soon thereafter.
Interesting. So I did Hilton Head too. I thought that was awesome. Pretty underrated. How was Charleston? I went there for like a weekend. I thought it was awesome. I wish I spent more time there, but curious about that.
Charleston was a cool city. Ours was unfortunately, like, my perception is pretty impacted by the bad Airbnb that we had at the time.
Right. I remember that now.
Okay,
yeah.
Smelled like cat piss. Like, clearly there was a pet in there before that shouldn't have. And then we ended up, there was like, I don't know what it was. It wasn't bed bugs, but there's like, I don't know, lice or some shit in the carpet, so we had to come get the carpet clean. So it was just like a bad Airbnb experience. And naturally, when you have a place locked down for like a month or two, it's not easy at that moment to find other options right around that are available that long and in your budget and stuff. So yeah, Charleston was a really cool city, kind of old school Southern charm, but I don't have a very fond memories because the Airbnb was so crappy for us.
Damn,
Okay.
yeah, that's so unfortunate on the Airbnb part. I hate it when that happens.
In our experience, that's kind of the biggest downsides of nomading is you can look at all the pictures and things that you want on these listings, but you never know what it's going to be like till you get there. Some hosts are better and more responsive than others. Or like a funny version of this was like in DC, you're like, oh, it's a pretty nice living room. And I go to lay on the couch the first time and it's 3 separate pieces that slide apart on me and like fall onto the ground on the wood. Like, it's like, you can't foresee that. But on our 22nd, 23rd stop, we're like, all right, it's time to get our own couch. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like I've been to places where, the bed is not usually in the US, right? But some other countries, like the bed looks like a king bed, but really it's two small
Oh
beds
yeah,
pushed together. Like that's another classic one too.
yeah, very classic.
Yeah, that one's super good. Sometimes you can do like there's trade-offs, right? Sometimes you could like do like a quick little spot to try it out, but then you might not have that many options if you're looking last minute after that,
Yeah,
So
I feel like you guys have always been a little bit more shoot from the hip as far as like finding the places that you want to stay and leaving it a little bit towards closer to when you actually go to that place to book stuff. We were booking probably like 6 months out usually for us because we're just that type of person that really wanted to have something locked down in advance. But yeah, the closer you get, the more challenging it is to find similar accommodations.
and I do always feel like looking for Airbnbs and stuff like that in the US is just way worse. Like it's so much harder. I feel like they're way more expensive and you get way less. It's like so I understand like booking earlier
Yeah,
because
I mean
it
when
yeah.
we started, it was I think 2021, so it was still during COVID, and like things were pretty affordable then. That was cool. And then naturally, as everything came out of COVID, like the prices increased substantially. And then also we were, in our opinion, staying in really cool cities where naturally New York's more expensive, South Florida's more expensive. So yeah, it could definitely be a challenge sometimes.
All right, let's talk about your car situation. I just live out of like a backpack in a small suitcase. You guys in your car had like a ton of fucking like it was like you were moving like every
Yeah.
time you went to a new Airbnb. Like you guys literally moved like all your stuff. Like you had like air purifiers and shit like that.
Oh, I
Um,
get triggered thinking about that.
what was the vibe with the car and this
Yeah.
all this shit?
Yeah, it definitely had its pros and cons. Like the negative side of that was we lived in 23 cities, so we moved 46 times. You moved into a place, all your shit, you moved all your shit out of the place. So that towards the end was kind of like, holy crap, we're done with this. But
Yeah.
having a car, in our opinion, was really convenient and made it feel more like living in a place, like as if we were full time residents there. Like, we go to the grocery store whenever we wanted, going to the gym, doing little errands. So I'm sure you guys have experienced, I guess inconveniences for lack of a better term in some places trying to get around and do your routines without having a car. So that was definitely a positive for us. But yeah, like I said, we had my wife's CRV, 2007, got that thing up to 225,000 miles. So it was very stable. Shouts out Honda. But, not knowing what we didn't know, we thought we needed a lot more stuff when we first started traveling. Like we took our backpacking and camping gear. We used it one time in Idaho for one night. So eventually we shed that. Like we started with one of those car toppers that had a bunch of crap in it. But for the most part, we each had one kind of large monitor to work with. We plug our laptops into that. We had kind of a bin of kitchen stuff because you never know what you're going to get in these Airbnb kitchens. Some have blenders, some don't. Some have coffee makers, some don't. We had like a tub of bathroom stuff. And then it was pretty much just like clothes and stuff like that. So it doesn't sound like that much stuff. And I guess it is not that much stuff when you put it into the back of a car, but we did shed things as we went. I mean, we eventually ditched the car topper. We ditched things as we went. So it was a good exercise in minimalism and like actually understanding what you need and what you don't. I mean, to this day, I still think the way you guys do it out of suitcases is really impressive. But yeah, in summary, I think we liked having the car, but we also had some grueling car rides. Like I said, 14 hours, 16 hours. Like what we learned, at least from that, was the earlier you can leave in the day, the better generally. So if we had a 8 or 10 longer hour drive, we try to leave at like 5 a.m. That way, by the time it's like 10 a.m. in the morning, you've already packed away like 4 or 5 hours and you're feeling pretty good. And you still have the whole day ahead of you. So yeah, we had an interesting relationship with the car, I would say, but thankfully it was really stable for us. And like I said, I think overall allowed us to take more stuff than we would have otherwise and kind of have more of a routine than we might have otherwise in certain cities.
Okay, two things on that. One big positive from your kitchen box that you had was when we lived together in Austin on Lake Travis, we could make margaritas. Like Cassie whipped out like a lime juicer, and I was like, "Wow, you have a lime juicer?" Like, again, that did not make my like minimalist nomad packing stuff.
Yeah.
So like she was able to like juice these limes, and like we made really good margaritas and stuff. So that was awesome.
Some might call that frivolous.
Yes. But the car thing, I was just going to say, I agree. Like, I don't like, even if I'm flying or whatever, it's just not that fun when you land at like midnight and you don't get to like experience the place at all. Like, I don't know, you just go right to bed. So I get that, like leaving at 5 a.m. if you're doing a long drive. And then at least when you arrive, you can kind of unpack a little bit or maybe like see something. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, just like it wasn't that much stuff, like I said, but then like moving it into the Airbnb, moving it out of the Airbnb, also, you know, naturally you got to keep an eye on the car. You got to kind of, you're in a new area. Most times when you get there, you're a little unsure of the surroundings and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there was only one time where we had a really hungover drive. It was when we lived in Atlanta for a little bit of time, I forgot to mention, and went to the Travis Scott concert on our last night there. And it was pretty impromptu. Initially, we were just supposed to go to the Christmas market with Steven and Caroline.
Wait, so you were planning on going to the Christmas market, but you ended up at a Travis Scott concert?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's lit.
So we're going to the Christmas market. So I chugged half a bottle of wine. We split half a bottle of wine in about 20 minutes because we're like, all right, this is going to kind of be our thing for the night. We meet up with our friends at the Christmas market. We're like, oh shit, Travis Scott's in town. We proceed to, you know, have multiple espresso martinis pre-gaming. We go to the show, multiple of these big beers, and we wake up the next morning. And that was the one time we didn't finish packing before the night before, because this was maybe our 20th stop, and we're, you know, kind of getting over it.
You're right.
Wake up the next morning, I feel horrible, and we're not done packing. Cassie jumps up all chipper, and I'm like, oh shit, you're still drunk. Like, she's like, I feel great. It's no problem. Like, I'm like, holy fuck. So an hour later, we finally get the car all packed. We get in the car to leave. We drive like 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh God, we got to like get some food. So I just remember being in the Chick-fil-A parking lot, like eating Chick-fil-A breakfast at like 9 a.m. Mega hungover. We ended up driving to Florida. It was like 6 hours. It probably rained 4 hours straight on us. So just
oh my gosh,
stressful drive. Like it was. That was one at the end where we're like, we're getting tired of this for a little while.
Fair enough. Yeah. So let's bring it to the end. Like, why did you stop? Obviously, it had been 3 years. Like, that's crazy for like any sane person to do. You know, Jack and I are really insane for even doing it longer than that. But yeah, like, why did you stop? Like, how did it all come to a close?
Yeah, I can't believe you guys have done it for like almost 5 or 6 years. The time goes fast too. Like, I can't believe we did 3 years even, but I can, you know, I'm sure you guys are saying, like, I can visually remember every Airbnb, exactly the setup. Like,
yeah.
You can remember back to each place, but it just flies by because you're having fun the whole time, and every, you know, place feels like a vacation for the most part. But yeah, like I said, I think we just kind of got over it, the moving our stuff in and out a little bit, and then wanted kind of some of our own stuff, right? Like the couch pieces expanding on us, like the beds, like you were saying, wanted to sleep in a comfortable bed and that kind of thing. So I feel like we also somewhat did the traveling to kind of help identify a place that we wanted to live in. I mean, we had lived in Denver before. That's where Cassie's from, and Denver's a pretty elite city in most regards. So, but what we realize is kind of every place has its pros and cons, you know? Like, it's no epiphany, but we would love to have 2 homes and live somewhere 6 months and 6 months. So at the end of the day, we thought Florida, or South Florida specifically, had kind of the most of what we were looking for. So yeah, I think after 3 years of it, we just were ready to kind of settle down and have a home base, knowing that we still would probably travel pretty regularly and take tons of vacations and stuff throughout the year.
Cool, because we're all going to go to Jamaica together next year. But yeah, Jack, sorry, what questions did you have?
Oh yeah, we are all going to Jamaica together.
I'm down.
Yeah. Bros only, but
we can take a boat from South Florida to Jamaica. I think it's like an hour.
Okay, I didn't know that. That
no way.
That changes everything.
I'll just be on Dramamine and just lay at the bottom of the boat, and you guys can party on the top, and then we will
end
up in Jamaica.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, you can take a boat. I think it's like an hour and a half or something.
What? Okay, yeah, we're
we're doing
definitely doing that. Fuck American Airlines. Yeah, so I mean that's I definitely, the car thing is interesting though to me, because I do think that you probably felt more at home, right? Like every place I kind of visited, I had to use like Uber, or I had to make sure I was in like a super walkable area, but like being able to experience places that aren't just like part of the city every single time, or like in the nexus,
Yeah,
is like kind of interesting, right? Like having a little bit more range.
yeah,
I know the drive would suck, but it does open like a little bit more doors, in my opinion.
yeah. That's an interesting thought. I remember we had mentioned that before, but like you not having a car kind of influenced your accommodations. Like you said, you'd have to like stay in more of a city type area with walkability, or like to your point, like even like when we lived in Seattle, we drove the car up to Mount Rainier for a day or two and hiked around, and that was incredible. But you know, Ubering or renting a car would have made that a lot more inconvenient. It's still possible, but having our own car to just hop in was definitely helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Like, so I feel like it's kind of an interesting experience having that, like, kind of other side of the coin. I think I had a car like once or twice, but at least being able to drive in America is nice, at least other than Florida. And I think if I were you on that hangover, I mean, I'm proud of you for getting through that 6 hours. I feel like I would have just like, all right, we're doing a hotel one night and then we're going the next day or something. Like,
Well, it was like your classic like making drunk plans. Like I distinctly remember like 1 a.m. we're walking back and we're like talking like we're gonna stay another day. We're gonna stay at your guys' place tomorrow. Like making drunk
yeah.
plans, and then woke up and we're like, oh my god, we gotta get out of here.
So when you drove to Florida, did you drive all the way to Tampa, or was there was there a stop?
I think we were driving from Atlanta to Panama City, so it was like six
Okay.
hours, and that was also another interesting thing. Like until you live in places, you don't know what you don't know. So we always thought Florida warm in the winter. We were there right around Christmas time. The Panhandle is not particularly warm in the winter. I mean, it
Nah.
was 50s and drizzly. Like it was warmer than other places up north, but it wasn't the mid 70s that you picture when you think of Florida in the winter. So like that was another cool, like interesting lived experience that informed wanting to move to Fort Lauderdale, knowing that it's not actually that warm up in the Panhandle in the winter.
Yeah, there's two different Floridas, really.
North Florida is like
Oh yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
But I have heard,
different
I saw
vibe.
this interesting graph the other day of it was basically a heat map of the United States, and it was like most days with good weather of the year. And they didn't really specify what good meant, but you can imagine 60s to 80s or something like that. And Jacksonville actually had the highest density of nice weather days in Florida.
Oh,
Really?
is it in the winter though? Is it like warm or is it more of
I
the
just
North
imagine in
Florida?
general, it's probably just a more of a mild climate. It probably doesn't get quite
Yeah,
as hot as it does in the summer, and maybe not quite as hot in the winter, but it's probably
yeah,
still in that area. I'll try to find that thing and shoot it over to you guys. It's pretty interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, I do definitely love the South Florida weather. I feel like it wasn't even this hot this summer, to be honest. It was
It's not.
fine.
I don't,
It's
and
not that bad.
like I feel like I'm like that weird guy who always has to defend Florida, but like I think the I think it's hot everywhere in the summer. Like, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where state you're in. Like, you're not going to be standing outside at 3 p.m. in the middle of August.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Waiting for a Z-Man. Yeah.
it's, I think the scale of how much nicer the winters are compared to the difference in the summer is well worth it.
Yeah, that's a really good point because like in Kansas City in the summer it's hot and humid, like
Yeah.
gets up to 100 degrees.
Yeah, it
But then in
sucks.
the winter also sucks. So yeah, at least in Florida you have nice winters. So that's a really good point.
Definitely folks who work outside, but I feel like most of the friends that we have and interact with like generally have an indoor job, so during the middle of the day you're generally pretty protected from it in the summer or the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really good at indoor jobs, to be honest. I think we all knew as young kids we
Yeah,
were getting indoor
Jack,
jobs.
I don't know if you're that good at an indoor job. I heard you got injured on the job the other day
Yeah,
at your
man.
indoor job.
I think I broke my pinky. I think I stubbed it on my desk. I like literally think I broke it. It's black and blue.
they
Your
say your
pinky
pinkies
toe.
are your pinky toes are for balance. If you lose one of them you can't really balance.
No, and I thought it was like chill, right? Like this happened a couple days ago. I thought it was fine, and then I'm such an idiot. today I'm at the gym and I start doing calf raises, and I think that just like utilizes your pinky more, and I feel like I like aggravated it like super hard, and like it really hurts now.
Like full flexion on your pinky.
Yeah, and I'm like limping out of the gym because like I feel like I really messed it up doing that. Yeah, so
It's tough out here.
I feel like I had another take about the winter or the weather, but I can't quite remember what it was.
I mean, November 1st in Florida is just, I mean, it's time to go, baby.
Yeah, winters are, it's great being outside in the
It's the
winter.
greatest of all time.
So no more takes,
I
Alex?
can't think of it. You know, it'll come to me
All right.
like 20 seconds after we get off this call, but
Yeah, we'll just AI generate your voice saying it. You can text it to us, and then we'll AI generate it into the episode.
Since we've been recording, we do this for all our guests. Yeah.
We did have some AI guests one day that were just completely AI.
did you hear
That was
there's this
fun.
new AI actress, evidently, that's supposed to be the new Scarlett Johansson?
I did
don't
hear
even
about
actually
that.
understand how that all works, but there's a bunch of hubbub about it.
Yeah, the people pushing it in their defense, they're like, no, it's not like she'll be a real actress. It'll be more like a puppet, you know, or like how people use like CGI. But yeah, I don't think we should take away acting. That's like one thing that humans can do. So
Okay, I'm reading it. So it's like they just like organically selected it.
I don't know about organic selection. I don't know what that means, but yeah, she's an AI
Yeah,
actress that like
a lot
is
of
getting like people like agents are like looking to like hire her.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works.
Maybe she's hot.
Well, she is.
I think she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Or it. Or
I mean, they're going to make it visually interesting to look at.
Yeah, they're not going to make an ugly AI.
Like, you know, that's like all the sideline reporters in NFL. They're all the female sideline reporters.
I mean, pretty much everyone on TV or in a movie is good looking. Hell, even like most singers, like I feel like they usually lean good looking. Like you got to be a really good singer if you're not good looking.
And also, like, even the people who are like playing the bad looking people are good looking still.
Right. They have to like make them look ugly.
And they still look tastefully ugly.
Right. Have you guys ever seen the side by side of Steve Buscemi, who kind of is, you know, universally known as not that good looking of a person? His side by side with Angelina Jolie. Google this. Google Steve Buscemi and Angelina Jolie side by side. There's a funny picture of him when he's younger and her. And the meme is something to the effect of like, for a brief period in time, the ugliest and the hottest person on earth looked the exact same. It's shocking how similar they look.
Wow, that is crazy.
That's funny. I just watched Mr. Deeds the other night, and he's in that, and he's really funny in that. His name's Crazy Eyes.
You know what I watched on Netflix last night? Dazed and Confused, baby. It was epic.
That's actually a great movie. I watched that very recently as well.
So good. Oh my God. It was
McConaughey's only in it for like 10, 15 minutes, but has a bunch of classic lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some that don't fly anymore, but they were good. Love to hear it.
Yeah, that movie's dated. When you guys do an episode, do you ever leave one being like, oh fuck, that was electric? Like,
pretty much every time.
Every time.
We'll like text each other and we're just like, dude, that was fucking awesome. That was hilarious.
Or something. Compare on the relative scale of a 1 to 10.
It was okay. We've definitely had some more electric ones. I don't know. We've just had some that are really fucking like funny, and we're just like going nuts.
Yeah, like people, no one to hold us back. Yeah, like we're just like ripping our shirts off.
No, give the people what they want.
Yeah.
No, but this was a great. I mean, I love doing this one, obviously.
Yeah, this was solid. I wouldn't say it was top tier, but it was
solid. That's respectable.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
We still love you. Like we're all friends and stuff, and we're going to Jamaica together. So
also, you know where we need to take Steve though, really? To Rick's.
Which one's Rick?
Key West. Key West
was so fucking fun. I came back with literally 300 bug bites, but it was so fun.
Dude, I almost got locked out. There's so much. Porter was on a rant.
It was your classic. So we have, it's a 2-bedroom, and there's a master one or whatever. So Cassie and I sleep in that bed together. And then the other one has 2 like twin beds or singles. And then there's the pull-out couch. And so I think it was supposed to be Porter and Fenlon, at least for the first night or something, in the 2 single beds, and then Jack on the couch and then switch or something. Porter basically brings a girl back both nights, bangs her in there both nights. So no one sleeps in the other bed. So it's just Jack and Finn on the pull-out couch.
Oh,
Porter just, and he did a move that we had never known before. He late night go puffed some condoms. And then Jack did it like the next weekend back in Miami.
Oh
right?
my God. It's brilliant. I mean, yeah, you can get anything delivered these days.
But, the real story here is that Jack basically almost got locked out of the place. So, we're just rampaging the whole weekend, drunk, whatever. Like, Porter's got this random chick both nights. Jack's like, I gotta make something happen here. So he was gonna make something happen regardless the last night. Some older lady and him get it hit off. So he ends up going to her place. We all go back to our place. Cass and I go to bed. Finland, I don't know what he's doing. Porter's doing what we've been talking about. And so Jack's phone's about to die. And Jack, feel free to add any details I missed, but it's something to the effect of his phone's basically about to die. As he's hooking up with this MILF, he charges his phone a little bit. Jack doesn't know the name or the address of where we're staying, but he knows there's a tennis court outside. So he's basically on Google Maps looking at places with tennis courts. And then he gets, and we're thinking like, all right, Jack's an adult. He probably's got a key, or it's all good. So I wake up the next morning to like probably 5-6 missed calls from Jack, bunch of texts, and the texts are basically like, guys, help! I'm outside. Guys, I'm 1% left. Please, like, guys, there's so many bugs out here. Like, please.
Oh.
And eventually, I think as Porter is going to the nightstand to grab another condom, he sees his phone light up, and it's Jack calling him. So Porter lets Jack into the apartment and basically saves Jack's life.
Yeah.
So you found the place, Jack, but you didn't have a key?
Yeah.
It had like
Were you ringing the doorbell, knocking?
Dude, it's like a big apartment complex.
Oh, you didn't even know which room
No, I
was
did
yours?
know.
Oh.
I recognized that once I got to the building, I know how to get in and stuff, but it's like an apartment complex without like a front desk person.
It had like a locked front door you had to even get into
Okay, got it.
So it was just like hopeless. Long story short is, Porter was he was on one, but I'm sure if we bring Steve down there, it'll be awesome. I mean, you got people eating chicken fingers in the pool. Like it's a little bit like Florida meets Lake of the Ozarks.
The place was sick. We did do, what do they call it? Hook it and cook it. So they went fishing. We went to this place. It was, they cooked your fish for you, but it was like literally a giant pool party place. So they had a huge pool, DJ going.
Rager.
That was actually really, really cool.
It was a rager.
If the Jamaica thing doesn't happen, we'll just do this. That's fine.
Well, we're doing both.
We'll do both.
We're going to take a week off and do Key West and Jamaica.
Sounds
what
epic.
if the boat leaves from Key West?
It's a thing.
I don't know if that's the right direction or not.
You could fly straight into Key West, Steve, and then we'll take a boat.
All right. I like this, guys. Let's keep building. Let's keep building on this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to build on it, Steve. Yeah, we definitely are. I don't know if we can take a boat to Jamaica, guys. It's like we'd have to go around Cuba.
Yeah, AP, I don't think that's like correct, but I'm going to do my own research.
Maybe it's like a boat to the
like
there is a
you could take a boat to fucking not Jamaica, but like those other Bahamas, probably.
I'm down to take a boat to Havana. Let's pull the reverse Uno on them.
Yeah, can we go into Cuba?
I was actually looking into that. There's some hoops you gotta jump through, but we could.
They just have like I wouldn't go for like, I wouldn't want to work remotely there because I think they have major internet and electrical issues.
We have to say we're doing like service work, and so we have to go down there and maybe like volunteer a little bit.
Yeah, and drink the Cuba Libres.
Yeah, some bullshit. But you do have to only support local businesses, which we're really good at doing that. So.
Oh yeah,
it is a strength.
Okay, yeah. No, either way, we're doing an island trip.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Another idea that we should still do the island trip, but Cass and I were saying the other thing would be like on an annual or like every 2 years, just do like an all-inclusive trip in Mexico again. Like basically do what we did for the wedding and just everyone invites whoever they want, and we just send like 60 to 80 of our friends down there for like 3 or 4 days of partying.
So AP, we're just gonna do that, but in Jamaica. They have all inclusive, so we're just gonna go there and do it.
Yeah.
That'll be like the one this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a total deal.
Yeah, I really want to go to Jamaica. I think it sounds like a really good idea.
We're doing it MLK weekend. Mark it down.
We should do it where for a whole month we party in a new island every weekend. Just imagine that, like 1 weekend in Jamaica, 1 weekend in Cuba,
Bahamas.
Caymans, Haiti. Like, let's get it.
Yeah, do they still got that dude barbecue running the show down there?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's still on the loose. He's still cooking some shit up.
Bodies.
Yeah. We'll just either go
Bodies.
somewhere he's not, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, I gotta eat dinner, but great hanging out with you guys. Everyone, thanks for listening and viewing.
And take a weird trip.